Good day guys, nice to have you here. Recently, X.Borg received a buff on the original server, which encouraged me to play him in a ranked game. And same as always, we'll talk about the good and bad decisions I made in this game, together with a hero build, some tips, tricks, and strategies that are all guaranteed to help you win more games. The first mistake I made in this game was that I went in the wrong direction for a few seconds. Normally that's not an issue, but X.Borg is one of the XP laners that benefit well from lane cutting and rush clearing because of how powerful his power spike is on the early game. Because of that mistake, I failed to reach the enemy minions in time for a successful lane cut. Other examples of heroes that benefit greatly from lane cutting are Balmond, Paquito, and Terizla. Notice that those heroes have tremendous damage output at level 1 and are capable of clearing minions quickly. If you are, however, playing heroes like Argus, Zilong, and Phobius, who are not as efficient in clearing minion waves or are very vulnerable at level 1, it's best playing safe by either staying in this bush to prevent the enemy from lane cutting, or for more advanced players, you can stay here closer to your turret instead in order to provoke the enemy into lane cutting, only to find themselves either ganked or heavily damaged, thus discouraging them from getting comfortable on the lane.
What are you looking at? I'm more complete.
First blood. An enemy has been slain.
It would have been better if I waited for Saber to become visible or step away from the bushes. That would have allowed me to aim X.Borg's first skill better. We still did well though, since we were able to force Saber to miss gaining experience from one of our minions. Remember that despite X.Borg's playstyle of quickly clearing minions and aggressively lane cutting, you should still try to deny the opposing XP laner and zone them out, and in some cases, freeze the lane in order to gain zone advantage against the enemy hero. If you don't know what zoning and lane freezing is, I highly suggest watching this video. I'll leave the link in the description and comment section for you guys. Let's quickly clear these minions since the turtle is about to spawn. We need to make sure we'll be able to help in taking that, especially since we're playing as X.Borg. He is one of the heroes with the best turtle and lord killing potential because of his ultimate, plus the fact that his presence is a great factor in team fights. Since Saber is busy clearing minions, we'll be able to take the turtle with less worries. Also, even if Saber decides to ignore the minions, since his turret still has its shield anyway, that still is a bad idea because he was only level 3. And we all know that Saber only really becomes helpful once he has his ultimate, which means either way, their team will be at a disadvantage, whatever choice he makes.
What the dog doing?
I underestimated Saber and thought he was actually camping around his turret. He was actually closer than what I had thought. Don't get tilted easily though. Always keep your cool and stop trash talking. That will only distract you from the game. Just focus on the game. If you're dead, check the scoreboard or make observations on the map or field. Do something that will benefit your team. Try to check the minimap as frequently as possible, and if you spot some action brewing, pan your camera towards the area in order to gain better understanding of the playing field. Instead of staying on the mid lane, I decided to return to the bottom lane since I noticed that Saber went to the mid lane. I also noticed that Claude was pushing the top lane. Since 3 of the enemies were dead, Saber and Odette didn't have a choice but to stay in the mid lane and defend it against 3 of our allies. I let them handle things on their own because they had the advantage in numbers. Remember that an XP laner's primary job is lane management, not kills. Only take kills that are either conveniently located from where you were, or kills that will allow you or your team to take major objectives such as turrets, the turtle, and of course, the lord. When you're playing the role of an XP laner, don't camp too much. An XP laner's true strength lies in their ability to efficiently farm experience and gold, and of course, survive. Unless you're playing very explosive XP laners such as Hilda, Paquito, and Cho, then perhaps Camping every now and then is a good idea, but for a hero like X.Borg, efficiently farming, clearing, and joining teamfights is the best way to go. Besides, why would you waste so much of your time and AoE potential in killing just one enemy hero, right? Before I forget, the emblem I used in this game was Festival of Blood, and I placed all of its points to damage output. Before I used to play X.Borg with Tenacity, but because of the buff he received towards his HP and defense, having Festival of Blood will prove more beneficial, especially on the latter parts of the game. When managing the lanes, you don't have to necessarily forcefully destroy the turret, especially if someone or one of the enemies is defending it. Giving your minions lane advantage is enough. Besides, having minions attacking the enemy turret will encourage one of the enemies in defending it. Since they will be busy defending it, you can start joining some teamfights. But remember, don't overcommit to teamfights. Once a kill has been made, either take a major objective, pressure the nearby lane and give your minions one wave advantage, or go back to defending your turret. Since the clash was too far, let's not waste our time joining that. By the time we get there, our allies are already dead or the enemies have already died. Instead, let's help our lane. Push it! Immortality, despite receiving that visual effect nerf, is still a good defensive gear to have, especially for X.Borg. Besides its regular effect of resurrecting X.Borg, it also allows him to gain full energy and replenishes some of his Farrago armor upon respawning. If X.Borg's ultimate is available, it can help him outplay and sometimes even kill multiple enemies waiting close by for his resurrection. My allies shouldn't have forced that clash since there were very few of us, plus the fact that all of the enemies were missing and were most likely heading towards the turtle since they can see us on the minimap. To make matters worse, the minions on the bottom lane needs to be cleared a little as well. Creating space for your allies is one of the duties of the XP laner, especially those with very tanky skill sets and itemizations such as X.Borg. Always keep an eye on the enemy jungler and prevent them from using retribution. You can also stay in bushes and provide vision to your allies while they are taking major objectives like the Lord.
Happy with my
By the way, another not so secret trick when playing X.Borg is to first use his first skill on the enemies in order to increase their heat gauge. Then use his ultimate once 2 to 3 hit bars have been applied. The reason for this is because X.Borg deals tremendous true damage whenever the enemy hero's heat gauge is full. Doing so also gives you better control of your ultimate since you don't have to utilize all of its cycles in order to max out the heat gauge of your targets. Sometimes, using too many of X.Borg's ultimate cycles will give the enemies a chance to escape since X.Borg's movement slows down gradually the longer his ultimate is active. If you however decide to activate his ultimate and end it prematurely without maxing out the heat gauge, X.Borg will end up dealing less regular physical damage. So yes, as much as possible, use his first skill first to apply some hit bars on the enemies, then use his ultimate to max out or apply the rest of the bars, and of course while casting the ultimate, it is in most cases a good idea to also use his second skill in order to prevent the enemies from escaping. Since our immortality was still available, let's keep on pressuring the lanes. Besides, all of the enemies are dead. It's not like Odette can do something against X.Borg at this point. Since X.Borg has tremendous spell vamp potential when equipped with Bloodlust Axe and Festival of Blood, try not to mindlessly recall. If possible, just gain lost HP from nearby jungle crypts. Also, unlike minions, they give out fragments you can use to regenerate missing HP and energy. That concludes our Mobile Legends content for today. Do you have any other recommendations I might have missed in this video? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stay safe everyone. Peace.